Assalamualaikum and good morning. Welcome back to Miss Mira Chemistry Learner channel. Okay, don't forget to subscribe and share my teaching video to your friends and others. So today we will cover about chapter 6, acid, base and salts. For this topic, you should be able to know the role of water in showing acidic and basic properties. And the second is you need to know what is pH and then the strength of acid and alkali. So for the introduction of acid and base, I'm gonna show you about this video. This video is want to tell us about the differences between acid and base. So for the acid, the example of acid is orange, vinegar, and the coffee. And the example of base is bicarbonate soda and the toothpaste. So we are going to look at the pH scale and see what acid and alkali are. So pH is a logarithm scale used to specify the acidity or basicity of aqueous solutions. If the substances is a neutral like a pure water, and then the pH will be 7. To give you some ideas of what all of this means, the acidity in your stomach, which helps you to kill the bacteria, has a pH around 2. Why? Acid urine have a pH around 3. Then for alkaline, washing up liquid has a pH for about around 10. For the aerosol spray, has a pH around 12. Now we can measure pH in a couple of different ways. One is to use some kind of indicator, which are a group of chemical dyes that change the color depending on the pH, and different indicator will change the color at different pH. Some indicator contain mixture of these different dyes, so their color will slowly change across a wider range of pH. So we also refer them as wider range indicators. The most common example is universal indicator, which give the color we have shown our pH scale here, ranging from deep red at a very low and acidic pH to yellow-green and then bluey purple. As we increase the pH, it becomes more alkaline. The other way to measure the pH is to use a pH probe connected to a pH meter. By dipping the probe into a solution, we can electronically measure the pH and get a numerical reading on the meter. pH probe is become more accurate and precise. The next things we need to look at is what exactly makes something an acid. So, acid you can define as a compound that when we dissolve in water, it will produce hydrogen ion, which is H plus ion, or hydrozonium ion, we call it, or chemical formula is H3O plus, H3O plus. Because of an acid produce a hydrogen ion, so it can make acid is more acidic. On the other side of the scale, we have bases, which is we can define bases as a compound that when we dissolve a base into the water, it will produce a hydroxide ion. The chemical formula of hydroxide ion is OH minus. Meanwhile, alkali, which we mentioned before, are actually a subgroup of bases that are soluble in water. So, we would say that an alkaline is a base that dissolves in water to form a solution with pH greater than 7. So, in conclude, we would say that all the alkali is a base, but not all the base is alkaline. D is the hydroxide ion. So here we can see the chemical properties of acids and bases. Reaction of acid and base. So if we react an acid and a base together, then what we have is a neutralization reaction, which will always produce a salt and a water. For example, I'll give you a common acid and base, which is a reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide to form sodium chloride, which is a salt plus water. Another way to show this neutralization reaction is in terms of hydrogen ions and hydroxide ion, where H plus from acid and OH minus combine to form H2O. Next, we will go through the similarities between acid and base. Here we will discuss about the similarities and differences between them. Similarities between acid and base: both are electrolytes, both can react with water and substances to produce salts and water. The differences between acid and base are: for the first one is acid. Acid are substances that release hydrogen ion H plus when dissolved in water and leading to a pH lower than 7. Acid are proton H plus donors. Meanwhile, base, the definition of base is different between Kssm. Base is release hydroxide ion OH minus when dissolved in water.